Don't forget to go on adventures. I was getting myself ready to work on this next build. I need to farm up some birch logs, bone meal them, need to collect some stone, melt it down in the furnace, but I'm just not really motivated to do that right now. And so instead, I think we'll go on an adventure. Because you have to remember that Minecraft is an infinite world of randomly generated interesting things. And yeah, it's awesome to build up a really cool base, a really cool village, and pour your love and heart into it and craft it to the exact thing you want. But there's also a world out there to explore. Sometimes you just need to do that. And I was thinking, while I was getting myself ready here, I was thinking about the spruce logs and the adventure we had to go on to get our spruce saplings. Because we didn't have any spruce wood somehow in the immediate area. So we had to go across the ocean, we climbed a mountain, we trekked through a beautiful cherry biome, and finally on the top and the back side of a mountain, we found just a few spruce trees. And while we were up there, I met a nice little wolf, and I thought, someday I'm gonna come back here and I'm gonna bring you home, or at least to Greg's basement. So I think we're gonna do that now. And if we're gonna go on an adventure, we should probably bring our fishing pole. And if we're gonna bring our fishing pole, we should probably bring a good one. I think between these four is the perfect fishing pole. I think that's aptly named. Now that we've got our adventure stick, we can go on an adventure. I don't know how long this adventure is going to take, but we should probably bring a bed. Alright, Greg, hold down the fort. And make sure you're stocked up on Greg's brew, because I have a feeling we're going to be thirsty after this one. We've got bones for our wolf pup, a bed to rest, and most importantly, we've got our adventure stick. Maybe one cast from the shore just for good luck. Ah, a raw cod. Exactly what this adventure needed. Our trusty chest boat has been with us for a long time. All the way back from the beaches of the Dark Forest. Alright, and now we go. Our fishing chair from the rainy episode. Adventures have the benefit of letting you take a step back and seeing everything from a different perspective. That's what I'm hoping to do here. Sometimes getting out into the world and exploring can really motivate you and inspire you in a lot of ways. It's hard when you're up close to something and you're focusing so hard and trying to get it complete, but it's amazing what stepping away and just totally disconnecting from it can do for you. You'll be surprised how often inspiration will strike when you're no longer trying to complete the task and you're just existing or going through the motions. I think we'll rest in Greg's home village tonight. We actually saved that stray cat up there one day, drowning in the ocean. We get him up out of the waterfall, up onto the cliffs, and he wouldn't even say hi to us. He just ran away from us. It's pretty rude after we saved his life. An early sunrise, a beautiful view. Let's see if we can find a nice little cove here. Take our first little pit stop. I think there's something interesting here. Some kind of water inlet or cave entrance here. Let's check it out. I mean, this almost looks man-made the way the sandstone supports the sand. A little ominous in a way, and honestly I hope that magma doesn't suck us down to the bottom, but pretty neat little generation here. If we're gonna go on an adventure, I don't think we can say no to something like this. Short and quick dead end. That's the beauty of an adventure. You just never know what you're gonna find. The mysterious cave may not have brought us anything, but maybe the shallow waters on the shoreline will. You know, the problem is probably my cast. You just can't cast very well seated in a boat. I think if we stand, we'll have a little better luck. Look at that, a bee. You know, bees are a good way to bring life to your village. I think we should probably try to grow some trees. I think it's if you grow trees near flowers, you can get bees. Look at that. Just had to stand up, catch something interesting. And we even found a little inspiration already. I think we'll try to get some bees in our town. We're approaching the base of White Wolf Mountain, the only natural occurring area of spruce wood in the discovered world. Let's not forget where our boat was parked this time. Well, we did catch a saddle. We could check out these horses, but I think it may be a little more difficult than it's worth trying to get these guys back to the base, so maybe we'll try to tame a horse a little closer to home. Man, this is a pretty cool area. I think we're gonna have to keep this in mind for the future. I don't know exactly what we would build here, but the way that this meadow kind of rolls into this hill could be something interesting. It's always a push and pull for me in a Minecraft world. It's like you want the flat plains so that you have a blank canvas to paint on, right? But inevitably what that means is that you end up with a flat village or a flat kingdom. And if you try to build in an area like this that is hilly and gorges and there's stone and there's outcroppings, you end up running out of space for everything all the time. But I think if you can force a build into an area like this, it does give it just so much more character. That's why I always wondered when I see people building on flat worlds. I understand if you're like testing a theory, but personally, even if I'm gonna build something in creative, I like to go into an actual generated world and find a build location. It's a little bit more work. I kind of need the environment to be inspired on what the build is. I feel like a build without the environment around it is just kind of, lifeless and soulless. It may be extreme, but that's kind of my sentiment on the creative building. Here's the cherry biome. We overshot slightly, but we got a new vantage point. We actually did grab some of these saplings and seeds when we were here last time. We don't really need to grab any more. Snowy peaks. I think we're getting close. Some more bees. See, here's another just interesting spot. This is the kind of stuff where it's like, you spend too much time in one area and you forget the kind of things that can just naturally generate. It's almost like the water is melting off this frozen glacier, comes down, and it's been digging its way into the side of this mountain. And then you end up with like these cherry trees all generating around it. And then, you know, you have a nice little natural bee's nest here with some life. I mean, this bee's a little derp, but you get the point. There's rabbits I saw jumping over there. I don't know, there's just a lot of cool stuff in the world, and you just gotta get out there and see it. I mean, look at this ravine with the mountains across the way. I feel like recent Minecraft patches have gotten a lot of flack, but I really just feel like, oh, look at that. Signs of a past adventure. Anyway, as I was saying, I feel like it's hard to argue that the Minecraft world just isn't more beautiful than it's ever been. And more interesting too. Alright, let's see if our friend hung out and waited for us to return back. I believe it was this ledge right up here that we rested on during our last adventure. Look at that, it hasn't even got snow on it since we were here. Alright, see if we can find our buddy. Got the bones out, he's gotta smell me. Can't have gone far. It is pretty treacherous up here though. Hopefully he didn't meet an untimely demise on these cliff edges somewhere. I'll be honest, kinda need coal. As much as I'd love to preserve the beauty of this mountain, we do have things we need to get done. And just because we're on an adventure doesn't mean we can't get stuff. Oh, it's funny, there's snow on the edges of this mountain, but the top is just bare stone. Kind of interesting. That is not a wolf. Oh, that is. Hey, buddy. Kind of dangerous, the company you're keeping up here on top of the mountain. Just say we come back to a nice cozy home and get you a real bed with a collar, maybe? Greg's always giving away scraps, so I think you're gonna like it. Best friend forever. We don't have a name for you yet, but I'm thinking that somebody might let us know down below. And if they don't, we'll think of something good. But for now, we've got to make it home. I think we'll go rest first, though. You wanna come? All right, it's a beautiful morning, and I've got a log cabin to build. Let's go see what Greg's up to. Well, Greg, I think I'm finally ready for one of those brews. Yes, a famous Greg's. Thank you. That adventure, you know, it really reinvigorated me. I'm pretty excited to get going now. Oh, no. No, not. I'm not ready to start working on your room, specifically. Oh, you wanted it. I mean, it's not like we've got tenants lined up out the door. There's 2 rooms upstairs. Yeah, I realize that those rooms are also not finished and don't have windows, but... Hey, I brought you company. He's mostly house trained. I mean, he was literally a wild animal, I don't know, 12 hours ago. Look how cute he is. I think he's gonna grow on you, Greg. You'll see. Well, this was unexpected. This episode was supposed to just be one adventure, but look what we just stumbled upon when we were trying to get some stone for our roof on the new cabin. Well, we're not going to need too many Eyes of Ender for this world. I guess we'll have to look and find the portal now that we're here. I don't think we're ready to go in there and fight anything yet, although honestly, our gear's not bad, and we've got a power 4 bow. I can throw bending or infinity or something on it. I don't know. I guess maybe we'll... I'm not sure. It wasn't my intention to fight the dragon yet. I thought maybe I'd shoot for it around episode 10, but honestly, I was kind of in the groove building and doing what we were doing, and it wasn't really on my radar. This is kind of my strategy when I'm exploring buildings like this. If I hit like a definite dead end, I'll backtrack until the nearest branch, block it off, and put a torch over it, because you'll end up going down the same hallways like 100 times when you're trying to explore these things if you don't have some kind of method of checking off areas. Oh, and there it is. Beautiful. Can these things spawn when there's a torch on it? I'm not sure. Oof. Well, we didn't get lucky there, but we didn't have to use any eyes to find the place. Oh, they can. So anyway, as I was saying before I was really interrupted, we didn't have to use any eyes to find this place, so I guess it could be worse. But yeah, we didn't get a single one pre-filled. Kind of a bummer. Now I'm just getting a million ideas. Like, I think we're gonna have to excavate down to this thing. I think we dig up and see where this is, because we are not far from the village. It's actually a really cool cave. I like the caves that spawn with these like vertical pillar support systems. Just makes them so much more believable to have this wide open of an area. Leave a little window open here so we don't forget this is here too. Alright, see where we are. Oh wow, we're super close. I mean, that makes sense. The mine entrance is on the backside of this knoll right here. Well, we're not gonna have to go very far anytime we want to go to the end. Usually I make like a nether tunnel that, you have to go like 1,000 blocks or something. Huh, interesting. I don't know. We have some big decisions to make now. Probably not next episode. I think episode 10. I think at this point we kind of have to. Episode 10. I think we're gonna fight the dragon. We still need to find a warped forest biome in the nether so we can get a bunch of endermen, and because we're gonna need all, is it 12 ender eyes? Whatever it takes to fill the entire circle. But it's gonna be way more feasible now, and it's literally next door to our base. Okay, now we just have to move on with our day and pretend like that didn't happen, because we've got to at least get one cabin built this episode, so let's get back to work. Back down into the mines. Honestly, we probably have enough stone now. Not back into the mines. We gotta go cut some trees. And there it is, cabin number 2. I'm pretty happy with the final result. I was going to go with like a flat roof here across the porch, and I was worried that it would look like too much of a step change from the roof. But now, at least from the side profile, I don't love how chunky this is. The flat roof would have separated the two peaks, so that might get modified. And I've got a few other modifications that I thought I would do while you're watching. Well, hopefully you were watching during the time lapse too, but I put these oak buttons on. Not dissimilar to how I used over here. I believe these were spruce buttons. I thought, oh, go one shade lighter, but even the oak buttons, they stand out a little bit too much for me on the birch. So I want to see what these look like, without chopping down the actual building. I want to see what these look like with birch buttons and see if they're a little less dramatic. Now, the concern here is it going to be dramatic? No, it's not too bad on the oak. Of course, that is in the shade, but yeah, that looks much better. Okay, we're gonna swap these buttons out for birch buttons for sure then. I like how that looks a lot better. The ones on the end, I was mostly using to break up the texture, which, the birch button on the birch log doesn't do much, so I could probably get rid of those. And these ones, I was kind of picturing it as like, oh, it's like you're driving a stake or a nail in to link the two logs together. At least that's what it was doing, in my brain. I don't even think that's technically how they do it. I think they actually drive the nails down through the logs, but this is Minecraft. We can make up our own building and physics mechanics, and this is how I want it to work. We have a window on the back overlooking the gorge, so they'll have a great view if we ever get around to that build. I had to extend this dirt out a little bit here. I extended the elevation out here as well, and this road is going to go into the forest for people that are cutting down trees and the workers, and then this is also where our path is going to curve and head towards the mountain. I thought about branching it off from the mine, but if I took the road from the mine path, it would sweep all the way across the valley and then loop back, and I thought this could make it a more direct route. I'm also considering making this like more of like a road, but I can't figure out in my head how I want it to go, because if it was a trade route or something, that's probably going to see less travel than the paths in the town, but you would also go through more effort to make it a better path. So undecided there. but we don't have to worry about that too soon. We'll make some rudimentary path for now, but that'll be a pretty huge project making the actual legitimate road from here to the colony. So what else was I gonna do this build? There were some other things I wanted to touch up. Oh, I was thinking maybe if I ease this curve out some, if we change the roof to a flat roof, it's not gonna matter, but this could help the interior space here, so this isn't as big of an area. I like how that looks. That can work. And then the one last thing that I wanted to change out here is, I thought for some reason, and maybe it is working, I wanted to use the hay bale trick to make the smoke thicker, but I just don't like how that double trapdoor looks. I need to find a better way to hide hay bales or something. I'm sure that if I looked up chimney tutorial for Minecraft on the internet, I'd find something, but for now, we're just gonna knock this bottom layer off. Maybe if I used like different color trapdoors or something. Oh crap, I was supposed to bring forgot to bring stone with me. Maybe I have some down in this chest. This is our little building supplies chest, so yeah, perfect. Well, we'll just revert this chimney to similar to the other one for now. Maybe I'll do some research and see if I can find a better way to hide these hay bales so that you can get cool chimneys. I mean, the real answer is probably to make it a much larger chimney, but I'm not sure for a cabin of this size if we could pull that off. There we go, that looks much nicer. Okay, we replaced our buttons. We got a little lamp here. It's got a light interior. I wouldn't say it's anything special, but you've got a bed. You got a little breakfast nook. I guess this is just like working counter. I figured you've got your chest storages up here and down here. And again, pretty decent view. This will be a cool view once we get that village built up over there. I took a peek over there earlier, and we're gonna have a pretty major terraforming project when we finally make the transition. We also need to figure out some kind of like lamppost solution for the town. I don't know what that's gonna look like yet, but I prefer to have a way to like have lighting along the path that isn't like sneaking torches behind trees and stuff. I mean, this works, but you catch the wrong torch, the wrong angle on something, and it kind of breaks your immersion. I really like to design my pathways, especially like when you're in a village or in a town, so that you feel like engulfed by the trees and the bushes and the buildings. So when you're walking down this, your brain doesn't even realize that, there's only 3 builds here, right? But when you're walking dodown this pathway, you get the nice open view of the bay. You've got buildings on either side, and even when you head out here towards the mine, I try to make the trees a little denser, and you have a nice field over here. Don't mind the aging copper. But I don't know, it just feels cohesive to me, if that makes sense. And that's kind of what I shoot for, especially on pathways and places that people are going to be walking. Obviously, as soon as you step to the other side of the trees on either side, it kind of breaks everything. But at least if you want to stick to the pathways, you get a cool little perspective of the town. Especially looks nice walking from this direction, where you round this corner and you've got a view of the new cabin. You've got Greg's Tavern to your left. You've got the bay on your right. Again, I want to do some kind of dock build down here, but I just can't think of what I want that to look like, so I've just been putting it off, if I'm being honest. Yeah, and then you're around the corner to our new cabin. We'll plant a couple more trees here, because you can tell immediately, all through there it feels mostly balanced, but as soon as you get to this last cabin, this opens up way too much right here, and you kind of break it. So if we plant 1 or 2 trees through here somewhere, or maybe this will be our chance to do a custom tree. I don't want to make that promise yet, because I'm just not very good at organics, but maybe it's something I could practice. Yeah, so we'll fix the dirt here to make a better path into the forest. I don't know that we'll actually build anything in the forest for now, but that could be a cool build later on. Maybe some kind of like goblin knoll in the forest or something like that. I don't know, we'll workshop it. But yeah. Oh, there's one other thing I wanted to do before I forget. Another recommendation from Cruentus, I think it was, again. He mentioned to break up this flat surface, putting a vent here, and I wanted to look. So we're up above this beam, so you wouldn't even really see it from the inside. We might have to go inside to place this, actually. I'm trying to think in my brain. No, if we place it this... No, it still doesn't work. Yeah, we're gonna have to go inside to place this. It's either that or I'm really bad at Minecraft, but I'm pretty sure we can't get the trapdoor to face the right way. Let me go in here real quick. Oh, yeah, I AFK'd on accident, and this door's gone, and things don't sound great in here. The good news is we're gonna have an easy curing villager. The bad news is this is gonna be a little bit difficult. We might just have to take some damage. I don't think I have thorns on anything, so we should be alright to just... Okay, there we go. Alright, so now we put our trapdoor on this face, and then flip it down. Perfect, okay. Sorry, dude. Oh, yeah, okay, we don't want to hit you on accident. I won't bother replacing your door because, honestly, you're probably stronger than most of the things that could sneak their way into here, so... Hey, watch it. Alright, how's this look? Yeah, I like that. Especially with the slab, it covers up most of it. It's just kind of a neat little detail. And roof vents is functionally a thing that happens in normal buildings, so that's cool. And then the other thing I wanted to do was throw a couple fences in here, some more, to kind of border the path. Oops. Yeah, we'll put this fence here and yeah, I don't want to shrink this path down at all. I'd like to keep it at least 3 wide. If we ever get to the point where we're riding horses around here, oops. If you ever get to the point that we're riding horses around here, we're gonna want a little bit of a wider path, so yeah, there it is. The path will get a little bit less dense through here too, because it's just, this is gonna be like the walking path into the forest, so, you know, the main drag through the town is gonna get the most foot traffic, and then after that it gets, you know, a little bit less. This is decent width. I typically put the fence like this at like, you see how this is like a turning point kind of? Just because on straightaways you wouldn't really have a fence post. Like this is a pretty long one, so we might throw like that there. And then here at like a crossroad, it's a good way to like, oh, this is an intersection of some kind, right? So you make it a little obvious. Let's see how that feels. Yeah, that works. So this is like a nice intersection in the road. Boom, we'll head towards the mining colony, or, you know, down towards the strip into town. This one might be a little blocky. We don't have any bone meal on us, but there's gonna be a tree right here, most likely. And then there will be a tree probably, I'm trying to think sightline wise. So you're gonna have the tree there, so there's gonna be a gap here. So they'll probably try to sneak a tree somewhere here. I wanna be able to see the forest over here, but I wanna see it while peeking through different obstacles on the main strip. That makes sense. Yeah, there it is. Our wood cutting village so far. We found a stronghold, we got a new dog, and we built a cabin. It's been a pretty busy episode. And if you made it this far in the episode, I appreciate you. Thanks for sticking around. Have a good one. Greg!